shoulders are on fire, your palms are raw from the rope, and you've been hauling a 4-ton block of stone for 6 straight days, with more than 100 miles still ahead of you. You have no idea this exact stone is about to become part of the most recognizable monument in Britain. Right now, it's just weight on a rope, and a decision your people made that's about to define the rest of your life. What if that decision had never been made? What if Stonehenge had simply never been built? You finally arrive and find nothing. Just grass, a scattering of sheep, ordinary English hillside stretching toward a distant farmhouse. No ring of stones, no monuments still standing after 5,000 years of empires rising and falling around it. That's not a small gap. Stonehenge is the reason millions of people a year pull off a motorway in Wiltshire just to stand in a field and stare at something they can't fully explain. One of the most recognized silhouettes on Earth, right up there with the pyramids of Giza, and the timing lines up in a way that's easy to miss. The Sarsen Circle went up around 2500 BCE, only decades after the Great Pyramid, thousands of miles away, no contact between the two. Take Stonehenge away, and that coincidence disappears with it. So what actually breaks? Start here. Tens of thousands of people gather on this exact plain every year for the summer solstice alone, watching the sun rise directly through the stone archways the way it has, as far as anyone can tell, for close to 5,000 years. English Heritage manages the site today. Total visitor numbers run well past 1 million a year. Drawn to a ring of stone standing in the middle of an otherwise ordinary field, take the stones away, and you're not just clearing a field, you're erasing the single reason this specific patch of Wiltshire countryside became one of the most visited sites in the United Kingdom. No annual gathering at dawn, Stonehenge is aligned so precisely that on the summer solstice, sun rises directly over a specific outlying stone and sends a shaft of light straight through the monument's main axis. And on the winter solstice, the same alignment works in reverse, framing the sunset through the opposite side. Building that kind of accuracy without a written mathematical system, without metal tools, and without any instrument more advanced than sightlines and patience, took generations of careful observation just to get the angle right. Erase the monument and that specific alignment. One of the clearest pieces of evidence we have for how closely Neolithic Britain tracked the sky simply never gets built into stone for anyone to rediscover. Here's where the mystery actually starts. 2 different kinds of stone make up Stonehenge, and neither came from anywhere nearby. Larger Sarsen stones, some weighing over 20 tons, were dragged from a site roughly 15 miles north. That alone is a serious undertaking with no wheels, no draft animals suited to the task, and no iron tools. The smaller bluestones are the real puzzle. Geologists have traced them to a specific set of outcrops in the Preseli Hills of Wales, over 150 miles away in a straight line, through terrain that makes the real distance even greater. Nobody fully agrees on how a Neolithic community moved multi-ton stones that far. Some researchers picture teams dragging them on wooden sledges over log rollers. Others imagine long stretches carried by river raft. The debate has never fully settled. Experimental archaeologists have spent decades trying to replicate the effort with period-accurate tools, and even their best attempts take teams of dozens working for weeks to move a single stone a fraction of the real distance. What isn't debated is that someone's decided this specific rock from this specific place in Wales mattered enough to justify one of the most demanding transport efforts in prehistoric Europe. Not the nearest usable stone, not the easiest option, but that one from that hillside regardless of the cost. And in 2024, mystery got stranger. Geologist Anthony Clarke and his team at Curtin University set out to trace the origin of the monument's central altar stone, a large flat slab lying at the heart of the circle, long assumed to have traveled from Wales alongside the bluestones. Using mineral dating techniques to check its true source properly for the first time, they found something nobody expected. Its composition didn't match Wales at all. It matched rock formations in northeast Scotland, more than 700 kilometers away. A find the research team, publishing in the journal Nature, called one of the most surprising discoveries in the monument's modern history. Not a regional undertaking anymore. A connection stretching across nearly the entire length of Great Britain, accomplished by a society that had no wheel to roll it on, no ox or horse to pull it, and no written word left behind to explain why. A couple of miles away sits a second site that makes this even stranger to consider. Durrington Walls, a massive Neolithic settlement believed to have housed the workforce building Stonehenge itself, along with a timber monument nearby known as Woodhenge. On their own, both are genuinely significant archaeological sites. Almost no one outside academic circles has heard of either. Their entire public relevance comes from being the village that built Stonehenge and the wooden version of Stonehenge. Remove the stone circle, and both sites likely stay exactly what they are. Real, but obscure footnotes without the monument that gave them a reason to matter to anyone outside a research paper. Take Stonehenge out of the picture, the altar stone discovery is never made either. There's no reason for a research team to trace a random field stone's origin across 700 kilometers if there's no monument prompting the question in the first place. An entire piece of evidence about how far Neolithic Britain's different communities were connected to one another, quietly erased, because nothing ever forced anyone to go looking. But underneath the tourism, the engineering mystery, the Scotland connection, there's an older, quieter fact buried in this site, one that has nothing to do with the size of the stones at all. Why go to that kind of trouble, moving rock by the ton across hundreds of miles, for a circle of stone on an open plain? Archaeologists have found cremated human remains buried at Stonehenge dating back to around 3000 BCE, making it one of the largest known cemeteries from that period anywhere in Britain. And this wasn't a single event. Burials continued at the site for centuries, generation after generation, choosing this exact circle as the place to bring their dead. That's not really a story about architecture. That's a story about distance. The distance people were willing to travel, again and again, lay someone they had lost in one specific chosen place. Recent isotope analysis on some of those remains suggests at least a few of the people buried here spent their early lives far from Wiltshire, some possibly from the same direction the Bluestones had traveled. Whoever they were, someone made the decision that this circle, and not the ground closer to home, was where they belonged, which raises a quieter version of the question this channel keeps circling back to. What makes a place worth carrying your dead toward from 100 miles away, when the nearest hillside would have been so much easier? Maybe the stones themselves were the answer. Not just rock, but rock from somewhere that mattered, carried far enough that the distance itself became part of the meaning. A shared destination, built by hands from opposite ends of the island, for the living and the dead alike, generation folding into generation until a plain in Wiltshire became the one place everyone, eventually, was brought back to. And somehow, against 5,000 years of English weather, it's still there. You can stand in that same circle right now, on ground that has been an open grave, a gathering place, and an unsolved question 5,000 consecutive years. That's not just engineering. That's a monument that turned distance itself into meaning. Sit with that for a second, because some questions are worth carrying a long way to find, and this channel exists to go looking for them. If that's your kind of rabbit hole, hit subscribe so the next one finds you. Now picture yourself back at the very start of that rope. Shoulders not yet aching, palms not yet raw, more than 100 miles of Britain still standing between you and Salisbury Plain. You don't know yet that this exact stone, from this exact hillside, is about to end up part of a monument connected to rock 700 kilometers away in Scotland. still standing long after every empire that will ever claim this island has come and gone. If that rope had never been picked up, if Stonehenge had simply never happened, the plain at the end of that journey would still be ordinary ground today. No solstice crowds at dawn, no altar stone quietly connecting one end of Britain to the other, no 5,000-year-old graveyard reminding us how far people will go for the ones they have lost. Which loops back to where this whole story started, except the question doesn't feel small anymore. How many other journeys like that one, 100 miles of effort for a reason we've lost the words for, are still out there, buried under grass nobody has thought to dig?